I'm really ashamed, and I'm gonna tell you about it today. Stay tuned, and then you'll see what I mean when I'm talking about shame. My name is Cami, and I'm a blogger behind Sensual. I've been reading this fantastic book, and I just have to share it with you because it's already blowing my mind. I can't contain it anymore. So I'm reading Brené Brown, and this book is called Daring Greatly, and I also bought her other books. She's a shame and vulnerability researcher. It's a really hard word for me to say. Not because it's like weird, it's because of like the language. So it was really interesting because I was recommended by multiple people to read this book. After sharing my story with several people, they told me, you know, this is shame. You're describing shame. Every single time I was like, I'm not really ashamed. I just have food issues. I just, I can't eat intuitively. I'm trying so hard, and then, dieting, and then, I don't feel good about my body, and da-da-da-da. I had all these issues. I always thought it was about the food. And I started recently realizing there's more to it. There's not just food, there's actually other issues that are going on. Food is not always the enemy here. We gotta actually learn to know ourselves a little bit more. So then I started reading her book, and the way she describes shame, I was just like, wow, I have a lot of shame in my life. I'm pretty much ruled by shame, and it was like a light switch that went off in my brain because I never actually thought that I was living a life that's just filled with shame. I want to find a quote how she describes shame, okay? Hold on. She describes shame as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. So, just let that simmer a little bit. She goes kind of deeper into it, and it just kind of blew my mind because I never actually thought that it was shame, and I never actually thought that it was all about belonging and feeling love. But I always knew that deep inside there was that little thing that was just like always nagging at me, saying that I'm not blank enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not hot enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not just lovable enough, or I'm just, and I always thought that, because of these things, I am unworthy of companionship, I'm unworthy of, having a relationship, or having love, or just belonging to a group. So, in the depths of my eating issues, my eating disorder, there were times where I just hid in my room and I did not go out, and I promised myself that I would not have friends because I did not deserve to have friends, until I lost weight. And I just made these crazy rules for myself, like staying in all weekend, I'm disgusting, I don't deserve to go out, no one wants to see me, no one's gonna want to hang out with me anyway, and I feel terrible anyway. And what if someone wants to get with me and then they see how I look like and they'll just run for the hills, and that's, I don't even want to put them in this situation because it's terrible, I don't want to do that. That's totally shame talking, and it's just, it's really scary that a lot of us think that it's something else. We think it's just like, oh, we just have issues with food, I just have to lose weight and that's it, and I'm gonna feel great. But really, there's a lot more that goes into this. It's a lot of shame, and everybody feels shame at some point or another, but I feel some of us just internalize it more, and they rule their lives by shame a lot more than others. And I think it's really important that we realize this, and we learn to live in a way that we are more shame resilient, as she says. So I really recommend that you read this book and her other works, which are just, apparently they're amazing, and I haven't read them yet, but I'm definitely doing it. So yeah, I guess the main takeaway from this video is that you should really think that there's probably a little bit more to where you're at right now. There's probably more going on than just food. If you have food issues, there's probably more going on, and which can be really good and reassuring because, we don't want food to be the enemy, because food is not the enemy, it's what provides us fuel. Getting as close as we can to the core of the problem is what will let us release the problem, and it will let us help live the more fulfilling and happy life that we can. So yeah, I recommend Brené Brown. Apologize if I'm saying her name wrong. Breen, maybe it's Breen, I don't know. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and visit my blog at sensualpeelblog.com.